What is going on, profitable stylist? Last week we was talking about things we wish we knew from school when we finished school. One of the topics during that conversation was free hair. Do we provide free hair? When do we provide free hair? How? All those things, right? It's got me thinking since all last week I've been on it.
You've been thinking that I'm right. At what point in your
career do you do it?
Why do you do it?
And how do you do it to build up your business? So, Bernard, here we go.
You've been thinking that I'm right. That's what you've been thinking.
I don't know. That's why we're going to go at it today.
Free. Oh, it is so polarizing. I love polarizing. I love using the most aggressive words in the subject. Let me just give you an example. I really made a pastor mad one time, or actually his wife. I mean, not on purpose, but I said something about manipulating the people. And she said, that is the last thing we want to do. And then I described what was going on. And she said that was called inspiration. I said, we're trying to change the way they think or feel. That sounds like manipulation to me. I didn't mean it in a bad way.
Okay.
I think the word just means what it is. Let me give you a more common one or more recent one in my salon. I told one hairdresser, after I described what I wanted her to do, she said, you want me to be fake? I said, sure. That's what I want. I want you to be fake in the salon to the other hairdressers and the clients. And she said, well, that seems so wrong. And I described to her what I wanted. And she said, well, that sounds like being professional to me. I said, it's still not being you. You're being somebody different. And I might be wrong because I'm no English major, but I think Shakespeare said something like all the world's a stage and we are merely, so we are actors all day, every day. We fake it in our lives. We fake it to our loved ones because sometimes we're in a bad mood and we're trying to fake a good mood so we don't piss people off. We're trying to be somebody different. We say for good reasons, good or bad, we are fake, or we should be fake to our customers so that they feel good about themselves with it. That's what they pay for. They pay to come to us to look and feel different while we act and feel different than we all really want to. Life is fake, whether you like it or not. So when I talk about, I know that's a whole nother subject.
I'm staying nice and quiet.
Yeah, I know, because we're going to make some people mad. And so in the salon, free, give some stuff away. I think that Eddie and I, as we talk about it, we realize that I just like to use really aggressive words. I use the word free, give it away. And people are like, I'm not working for free. Well, obviously, I'm not working for free either. I'm usually making more money than the person I'm talking to, and I probably did more free than they've ever done. So let's do that math. So what did you figure out about free?
It's really stuck with me since last week. I've had this itch all weekend. I was talking about it. All this week I've been talking about it. I couldn't wait for today to debate it with you. I've come to realize, you're right.
You said it. You said it.
Whether it's aggressive language, whether you want to soften it up, however you want to call it, one ways or another, I have been doing free services and free hair, but in my mind, under the guise of I'm doing it for a reason that's going to generate me a profit in the end. So technically, it's not free. I've been kind of going about it, and I've been justifying it in my own way because that's what felt true to me. But from a business perspective, it was fake as. I hate these lives, Bernard.
You don't hate the live. You hate that you have to be fake and you can't use the real language that you use in real life.
How many coffees has somebody got to buy you so I can cuss? Can we have a swear jar campaign?
No, then YouTube will, I think you can't say bad words for so many seconds. I learned this from watching other YouTube videos because then they'll shut you down. And we are going to stay professional.
So then here's the things what I've thought about, right, the beginning of my career to build a book, throughout my career to increase my book.
Yep.
And now, where I feel like I'm in a good place in my career, I've made it. I'll say that loosely, right?
Right. Have we ever made it?
Right. And yet, from time to time, I'll throw a freebie out there for the sake of feeling good, for doing something nice.
There's a word for that. Can you say it?
I cannot. I cannot pronounce it. If you say it, if it's the word I'm thinking that you're talking about, if I hear it,
don't say it. Don't say
it. I cannot pronounce it.
Oh, it's called philanthropy.
Yeah, my tongue doesn't go that way.
I don't know where the word comes from either, but philanthropy is giving stuff away just for the good feelings, or because you can, or because you feel like you should give back because so much has been given, you want to give. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for philanthropy, or just charity, or missions fields. I mean, there's all kind of reasons in different categories. But let's talk about this. Oh, I can't see like that. So the thing I want to say about free and fake, here's another real pretty word for it all: marketing.
Okay.
That's what you did. You did advertising and marketing, but you could never call it free because you felt like you were cheating yourself, your education, your income. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I got a whole list of professionally typed. I got a whole list of things I wrote down over the last couple of days. And actually, I wrote them in my notes on my phone, but I'm on my phone doing this. So then I had to handwrite them real quick so I could see both at the same time. But for me, I was going over a program with a stylist yesterday. The stylist in my salon hates the word free more than anything. She just won't even participate in the free program. And I said yesterday, you know what? I'll say her name, Shelby. I said, you know what, Shelby? You're trying to fill your book up a little more. There's a program we used to do called Friend for Free. So any of your customers that are coming in now, when you call to remind them of their appointment, offer for them to bring in a friend for the same service or less in money and physical working, for the same, for doing the same thing for less. But here's the deal: they got to come in at the same time. So then it's a party, it's a get together, an outing, it's with a girlfriend. They either can split the cost between the two of them and each pay half price, or the one can just do it for full price and bring the friend for free, and that person now gets to experience your work and will book for full price next time. You can call it marketing or you could call it free. Whatever you want, a gift, you could call it philanthropy. Mm-hmm. It's building your book and your business.
So in the beginning, Nico says, good morning. What's up, Nico? So,
good morning, Nico.
Nico likes stories. I'm going to tell a story.
All right, go ahead.
When I opened the salon, I was 21 years old. I had no book whatsoever. I had zero clientele, right? So we used to play cards. We used to clean a lot. And there wasn't much going on.
There wasn't no social media.
And there was no social media back then, right? So literally there was nothing going on. My uncle used to tell me, go get me a coffee, oddly enough. So he used to give me a couple of bucks. I'd go over to the grocery. Inside the grocery, there was a coffee shop in there, and it was pretty good stuff. Everybody liked it, right? Now, when in those days, people didn't dress up anymore to go to the grocery. It wasn't an event to go to the grocery. People just running in, grabbing stuff, getting out. When we would walk through the salon, I in the beginning, I would go by myself. And then after a while, everybody saw me going and they'd be like, oh, you're making a coffee run. Why don't you grab me one too? I'm like, I don't have enough hands. Somebody got to come with me, yeah? Mm-hmm. So when we would walk through the grocery, we were all dressed up for work. So she'd be wearing a dress. The stylist would wear dresses back then. I would wear shirts and ties back then. I'd be almost in a three-piece suit. Some days I was in a three-piece suit to do hair. So that was just how we dressed up at that time, yeah? The people at the grocery would always take notice, like, who are these two people all dolled up walking through? and we go get our coffee, and at the barista or whatever you call them, they'd start talking to us and chatting us up because they thought we were somebody. And we'd start flirting back with them because that's just what we do. Next thing you know, they're on our book. And I'm like, oh, wow, cool, interesting, okay. So then we would do the consultation, and they're like, we can't afford your services. Sorry, we got to go. I'm like, that's even more interesting. Okay, this sucks now. Now it's really awkward tomorrow when I got to go get coffee for everybody, yeah? So I'll figure it out. Look, you want free hair? Can you recommend me another person? And I'll do your hair for free. So in my mind, I was washed. I was talking about this last week too, right? In my mind, I was balanced out.
Right.
So that made sense to me. It felt good to me. Well, she was all excited about it. And she's like, yeah, sure, I'll get my friend. We'll come over, And I don't know what they ended up working out with each other. They started getting their hair done. Now I had 2 clients. All of a sudden, from 0, I had 2. Well, I love milkshakes. I don't drink coffee. So I'd go over to the ice cream shop. There was a couple of doors down ice cream shop. And there was a little girl working. She was a high school kid. So I told her the same thing just to see if it would work. And she goes, oh, man, I'm going to cost you so much money because you're going to do my hair for free forever because I'm going to recommend you so many people. And in my mind, I'm like, little girl, bring it. This is my dreams come true right now. Like the best words you ever want to hear, right? Yeah. So all of a sudden I had all the little high school girls coming in. Well, from there, their parents started coming, and then they started bringing their parents, the grandparents, right? And in the beginning of my career, I thought this was the most amazing thing in the world. It was like a Groupon before Groupon.
Right.
So, and then it got me thinking, because you were saying, Bernard, how in the beginning, you had to rebuild your entire book from scratch all of a sudden. So, and all of a sudden, after a couple of months, you were so busy that you got to choose which services. How was it? You wanted to choose which services you wanted to continue to offer, or which?
Well, I had been an experienced stylist, so when I started putting it all together, I think of it as more of a business mind than a creative mind. It's like, hey, if I'm gonna do free, okay. So in my mind, I don't think of it as free either. Let me tell a little bit of story since I get the mic here for a second. I don't think of it as free either. As a matter of fact, I wrote a few things down. I know that I've read enough books to think about this. If you discount something, then they want a discount again. You're getting discounted type clients. Okay. There's people that think discounts, and there's people that think if I pay more, I get better. And that's the people I want. I want the people that are going to come in and want quality work, don't mind paying money. And so if you think about it like that, I've got cheap people that always want discounts, or people that pay a lot of money for services. I want the people that pay a lot of money for services, but how do they know they should even come to me? That's how I was thinking. So the word free comes into play here, but it's like this. If I offer the discount, this person that pays big prices for really good work is never coming to me for a discount, because she hears cheap, not good, discounted, or he hears that. And so in my mind, I don't want that lady that always wants the cheap discount, Groupon discount. So I'm thinking, I'm really good. I can spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on marketing and advertising and say, I'm good. Come see me. Here's some before and after pictures. How do I even get those pictures? I got to have some hair done, whether they paid or they're free. So instead of doing all that, why not approach? Because I'm smart enough now, I'm old enough now to look around, and I can tell who cares about their dress and their hair. And if they have a job, like you inherently found somebody even though as a kid, they're working at the milkshake place. They're working. Some kids are just living off of mom and dad, not working. This kid's working. They will have the means to pay for it at some point, or could. And they're getting customers that are coming and paying for stuff. They're not the kind that are making it at home. So I just thought, this person that can afford it is who I need to approach. And if I approach them, a discount is not what excites them. It's not free. You've got to offer some value. So it's not actually free. I need to build my business. I need people to know that I'm good at doing hair, and I would like to do it on you. I would like to spend my money on you, on the house. All kind of fancy words you can use, but you give it value, like, you don't know me. I'm from a different town. I know you would never just come to me for no reason, but let me just show you what I got. Let me show you how good I am. And then from there, you've built a relationship, and they go from paying nothing to paying full price instead of paying a discount and always wanting a discount. That's the thing. I felt like it could go from free to full price way easier than some discount to full price.
So that's see, that was the thing where I was missing. That's when you're trying to do something free versus you're not really working for free. You're building value in something.
Right.
So now, fast forward a couple of years. Now I've got a steady book going. So now I'm at the middle of my career, right?
Right.
I start developing techniques. You know, I had gotten a little notoriety in my area. I had gotten a little popular. A couple of companies had taken notice of me. I was starting to do some shows. I was starting to do some classes. So I was starting to develop highlighting techniques and different coloring techniques. And with some of those techniques, you know, on a mannequin, you can only do so much and only so much makes sense, right?
Let me summarize this part. I think we're both going into the same category now, just to kind of give it a kind of a bit of a title.
Okay.
We first talked about how free in our different mindsets helped us build our business. I think we're both kind of going into this category now where we've doing very well for ourselves personally, but we're going to help other people around us, our assistants, other stylists in the salon, build their business. And in some ways it's helping us and it's helping themselves. I think that's where you're going with this, right?
Yeah, growth and expansion.
Yep, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, total growth and expansion. Because I was fully booked. I had no more space in my book.
So now you're trying to think about working smarter instead of harder. More efficiently.
At that time, that's what that was. I wasn't smart enough to know that's what that was.
Right. Right. So you felt like you were just trying to make more money. And I'm going to summarize again real quick a little bit about what you're going to talk about. So you're doing color for high-end, high dollars, and you're doing cuts and styles on those same people for less money. And you're trying to figure out how to make more of the big money in the same time frame by stacking more colors during that time and getting those cut and styles done by somebody else in the salon.
Yeah, the thing it always bothered me why we can only do 2 people in 1 hour. Why we can only do a color and then we have to come back and finish that person for the haircut afterwards and the blow dry.
Right.
Why I can make $100 something for color, why I can only make $50 for haircut, you know, with the blow dry, right?
Right.
Now, this is going to be, look, everybody's got a different opinion about this.
No, I think yours is good. Tell that story the way you did it. In my opinion,
doing both made sense at that time. But then I've realized if I only specialize and focus on doing one service, the collar, that's the higher ticket item. So if I'm doing 2 clients in 1 hour, but I am performing 4 services. So if my hours split between the 4, I'd rather just do 4 colors instead of 2 colors, 2 haircuts.
Right.
Well, now if I do 4 colors, I can see
much
4
more
different people, right? And if I see 4 different people, that's 2 extra clients per hour. I just got 100% growth, you know, and expansion of business. Well, how do you do that? Well, we had
put a blow dryer in the client's hand. No.
That's nowadays. We'll get to that.
You shouldn't do that, but a lot of people do. I know.
No. There's a good reason. Okay, well, that's our next debate.
Okay. Yeah. So I like what you did. I can see you feeling guilty about what you're getting ready to talk about. But think about this. I'll let you tell your story. But those stylists that helped you do the blow dries and styles, they went from, as Eddie calls it, zero I'll translate to zero. That they go from $0 work, clients, experience sometimes, and you're giving them something to build on and something to do and something to feel good about themselves and some money. It's not as much as you yet, but they're not sitting around playing cards. they're getting to actually do something, build their speed, build their experience, build their relationships with clients, and work under a mentor, kind of like we talked in the past. So this is a great plan, I think.
Yeah, well, that was the biggest thing. Some of the style. So as the owner, it used to make me furious that they're just sitting around and I have to pay them for absolutely nothing.
Right.
They're contributing nothing to the business, right? It used to make me mad. It used to make me mental. I started talking to some of them, and I would say, come do this blow dry for this lady. And you're like, what am I going to get out of it? Nothing. She's going to get to know you. Then you're going to get something.
Were you paying these stylists? Were they straight commission? Were they hourly, salary?
We had to pay them by the hour.
Yes, of course they need to work then.
I never got paid by the hour when I first started.
No, but a lot of people do when they first get a job. So why not put them on some free service?
I always get the short end of these things.
Right. So you made them blow dry and style your clients. Did your clients pay for that, or you gave that away?
So this is where in my mind it wasn't free, but it technically was.
Right.
So I would do. So what would happen is they would sit in a chair. I would throw their color on. And then I take another client. And then I throw their color on. Then I take another client. Well, by the time I got to the third client, the first client was ready to go. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Today, I'm going to have, madam blow you out. She goes, what about my haircut? I'm like, I forgot about that completely. You know what? My bad. I owe you a haircut next time you come in. I didn't think it through. I had like the great idea. I was like the Wile E. Coyote. I had the good idea, but it would always explode on my face. So.
But at least you were growing. That's how you grow. Mistakes.
Well, that's what it was. Then the next time she would come in, I would be like, oh, let me cut your hair real quick before I start your color because I forgot last time. And then so-and-so is going to blow dry your hair this time because I'm busy.
Right.
Well, then it just got to the point they were like, well, since she's blowing me out and she knows my style, why doesn't she just cut my hair?
There you go.
Hey.
And that's fine. If you can do more color and less cuts and styles, you make more money.
I had not thought that through either at the time. So I'm like, wow, this is even better. So now I'm like, well, she's going to charge you for the haircut. Well, does she charge as much as you? I'm like, you know what? No, she doesn't. She charges a little less. Go. Please go. So now I got 2-3 stylists just servicing the amount of color that I was pumping out. And at my peak, I was doing 5 hair colors in an hour. Per hour, 12 hours a day. And then my back broke.
That's a lot of money.
It was insane the amount of revenue we were generating, right?
Right.
I had to hire an assistant, a color assistant. This poor girl, all she did was just follow me around all day long and help me. I would start the color. I would do the application. She would do the pull through. She'd run them back to the shampoo bowl. Like all of a sudden I had 4 sub employees of my employees that were just dedicated to following me around finishing my work, what I would start.
Right. And all aspiring to be you at some point. So you were the mentor, whether you wanted to, thought you were, liked it, even if you just felt like you were taking advantage of them at the time because the maturity level might not have been there yet. Truly, you're teaching them how to be a much more successful stylist in the future. They have a living example of what to do. I did some things similar, not the exact same pattern, but very similar. You figured out, like you said, you didn't know that it was called working smarter instead of harder, but you were thinking like, how can I make more money in the same time? Where is the money? For me, a lot of it was the money was in extensions, hair replacement, higher end services. So I went there first, and then I got the assistants to help me do more of those or do the less, I don't know, I guess in some ways the less skilled, the style. If they mess it up, you can fix that kind of easily. If they mess up the haircut, it was like, oh, okay, so we need the better assistants to start doing the haircuts. But the color formulation, the application, especially highlights, they needed to be a little more precise. Plus, that's where the money was. So we're going to use our expertise to make the money. Extension placement, and then I have somebody else cut and style it. So I love where you're going with this. A lot of that stuff was given away free at first, though. You gave those styles away and cuts away and blow dries away to the clients right at first to get them to like the assistant before you start.
Yeah, to eliminate the resistance of somebody else unknown touching their hair.
Right.
and to get them to know, to build that relationship, I was
Right.
cultivating those relationships.
Perfect. I love it. And so then the next segment I want to go into, and then we'll end it, is so a guy on one of my private forums just posted about this. He had moved to a new area, and so it was similar to my experience with my. I quizzed him on there, but Roger Norman, he tells me how he just quickly built a clientele in a new area, and I was thinking, how did you do it? And one of the things he did mention was no discounts. He just did really good hair. Now, how did he get the first client or two? I don't know. Maybe he did some pictures from his old clients from his old town or state that he was in, but he moved to a new town, him and his wife, maybe his wife's job. I don't really know what the reason for the move was, but it was a whole different state, completely starting from scratch. Him and his wife worked together as hairdressers. He kept answering my questions with, we did this, we did that. I said, who are we talking about with the we? And he's like, oh, my wife also. I said, oh, okay. So he said no discounts. He just basically said he showed his work on social media, gave 2 cards out, said send 2 friends in, and he just marketed on how good he is. Now, you go to a new town and you don't have any pictures or anything. You've got to do somebody to get the pictures. If they're not going to pay, it's going to have to be free. So for me, that was one of the reasons I wrote down here that if I were to start brand new, fresh in a new town and I had to get started, everybody's going to do it different. But the very first thing I would do is you got to add value somehow. It's not really free. You're right. It's not free. I say free because I know, to me, I got to buy these chemicals and products and I'm going to work on you and I might get no money for the next hour or 2, but I'd much rather be doing that than nothing at all. I'm going to buy these products and tools and all this stuff in case I get a paying customer. So I've already got all the stuff. Now I'm hoping a customer comes in. I'll hope for a day or 2. Then if nothing happens, I'm going to make it happen. So it's the difference of waiting and letting or hoping and making it happen. So to me, making it happen is if it doesn't happen, just do it, whether they pay or not. It's not that I'm trying to give it away free, but I would do it under the guise of, hey, I'm trying to build my business in the area. I'm good. And how do you say that? It's hard to toot your own horn. I'm good, but you don't know it. And so that's essentially what you have to say, however you're comfortable saying it. I'm really good at doing hair. I need people in this brand new town to figure it out somehow. So you know what? I will do your hair one time on the house for free. But this is what I need from you. I need you to be okay with me taking pictures of you, doing a little photo shoot, a couple of videos. I want you to post some of this stuff on your own Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever you're doing. Let your friends know. And that's one of the biggest marketing things I've found lately. I can post all this stuff on my own social media, but only my friends. I'm in a new town. I don't even have any friends in this new town. I need to figure out how to get you to post it on your social media and your friends' social media. I need them to share it. So it's all under the guise of it's on the house, and we're going to use it for marketing. I need to get more clients, or are you game? And they feel like I'm good. They don't feel like I'm cheap. I'm learning. I told them I'm really good. And I know that it's a big commitment to say cut or color or highlight. So at the least, if you're uncomfortable with getting people in, just say a shampoo, blow dry and style, or a blowout, or, something very non-committal that they can say, well, I didn't like that, but it didn't ruin my hair. It's just more curly or less curly than I like. So there's non-committal, safe ways to do it. But if you are new, here are some of the side benefits I wrote down, because this is what happens with assistants that I make go out and do free stuff, whether they agree with it or not, because I know it's good for them. Kind of like a bath for my 8-year-old. He don't ever want to take a bath, but I sure like him a lot better when he does. But this gives them practice. If they're newer hairdressers, they're not that good yet. They're not that fast, even though they think they're great because they went to the best school or whatever. They need the practice. They need the speed. They need the experience. They need to get known in the area one way or another. So it's not necessarily a discount. Instead, I wrote here at the end of my list, instead of marketing, it is marketing. Mm-hmm. Free is marketing if you do it right. I'm done. I'm going to get my coffee. Buy me one, please. I see you got your tea with the tea bag hanging out. Doesn't it get a little too strong just leaving it in there a long time?
I like it strong like that, though.
Oh, okay.
Like that flavor.
You put a little honey? You put a little honey in there?
No, I'm old fashioned. I put sugar.
Oh, okay.
Pure white sugar that'll kill you or whatever everybody's on about, you know. Here's the last thing I'll end with too. Going back to how you were saying as well. My greatest success that I accidentally fell upon. This was a great advice that was given to me, and I never knew how to apply it. And like I said, I accidentally applied it the one time, and ever since, that's when it clicked. When you are approaching a potential new client, you see somebody's hair and you would like to introduce yourself and you would like to offer to do their hair, right? How do you tell them their hair sucks without insulting them? How do you tell them that you are better than whoever they're seeing without insulting that person professionally? And how do you not make the whole exchange awkward real quick, yeah? The advice that was told to me was compliment, compliment, and then compliment some more and show some humility. And so there was a lady getting her nails done at the salon. And so I had no idea what she looked like. I only saw her from the back of her head. She had long hair, it was layered. She had nice hair color. She had nice contrast. She had a nice base tone. There wasn't necessarily anything wrong with it, but for whatever reason, the way the light was hitting it, I was inspired. I saw dimension that wasn't there, and I knew I could add that in, and it would just pop it that much better, yeah? So I walk up to her and I said, oh, excuse me, welcome to the salon. Can I get you a cup of coffee, something? And she turns around and she looks at me. She goes, oh, no, thank you very much. And I jumped back for a second because she was really pretty. I wasn't expecting that. It threw me off. She was really pretty. So I'm like, okay, look, you're very, and I just blurted it out. I'm like, you're really pretty. You have really beautiful hair. I'm in love with your hair. I was watching you from back there for a while. And as I'm saying it, it's coming out of my mouth. I'm like, oh, God, that sounds so bad.
Stalker.
Right? I'm like, I love your hair. Whoever's doing it right now is an amazing stylist. I just want to throw this out there. I would love the opportunity to try to enhance it a little bit more. You probably think I'm nuts. You have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you ever want to try to just keep what you have, but just enhance it that much more, there is a level of dimension that I can take your hair to that is absolutely going to be amazing for you. Bernard, she looked at me straight in the eye and said, that is the worst pickup line I have ever heard. And I got so mad in that moment, and I said, you must be really full of yourself, okay? I ain't talking about you, woman. I'm talking about your hair. Like, I got angry for a second, right? And I'm like, just because you're pretty. Well, 2 months later.
Did you end up doing her hair?
2 months later, she ended up on my book. Fast forward, here we are now, 18 years, almost 20 years later. I'm still doing her hair every 5 weeks.
Nice.
And every 5 weeks now I flirt with her and I say, oh, you look so good. You want to go out tonight. And she's like, go away. You're such a loser, But that's the relationship that we've built now. So compliment, show some humility. My way was getting angry without realizing I was getting angry, because I truly had the intention. I was inspired that I can make her hair look good.
It's funny. I learned a very, very similar experience. I learned the same thing by accident also. I also learned to not talk as much and let them talk. So what I noticed was if I said something like, this is hard, and I don't remember exactly how I did it, but I was like, I would love to fix your hair or do something different. They get defensive and like, well, there's nothing wrong with my hair, and they don't like you right away. But if I said, I love your hair. Now, for me, coming across as a straight guy, just like you, they think I'm flirting with them also. So I quickly would say, I love your hair. And then I would quickly say, I'm a stylist or a salon owner. And they immediately like, okay, he does like my hair and not me kind of thing. And so I would say, I love your hair. I'm a stylist over at On Stage Hair Studio. And they immediately, when I would compliment, would immediately insult themselves. Immediately she would say, this is all real stories too. Like, oh my God, Don't look at my roots. They need to be done. Oh my God. I didn't, it's at the coffee shop. It's so early. I'm going back home to blow dry and style it. I can't believe you're looking at my hair. No, I said, I like it. I mean, I can see some room for improvement, but I'm saying for the most part, I like it. And then they're like, see, I just got it done, and it's not what, and I wanted that chunkier, or they didn't know the word. I wanted it where you more bigger this. I said, oh, you wanted the chunkier, more bold contrast, dark light, dark light. Yes, I can do that for you. And you know what? I'm building my business in this area right now, and I'm doing a few clients for no charge, so I can use them on my social media. If you come in before the end of the week, I'll do your hair for free this week. Okay. And they book it. Even though they just got it done, there's no risk. There's no cost. They come in and do it. They love it. I keep them forever. And so I did that 2 or 3 times a day, grocery store, coffee shop. You're right. You insult them, they get defensive. You compliment them, they insult themselves for you and describe everything wrong with them. And then you can offer to fix it. I think that's a good place to close. Yeah. I think it's good that we both had the same experience.
I wonder what other people have experienced. Has it been similar? Has it been different?
Good point.
What other people's approach has been. So I would love to hear other people's perspective on this, because this all week I've just been thinking about this nonstop all week. It's been a fun week. It's been a fun contemplating week.
Yeah, in the comments, let us know how would you build a business from scratch?
Yeah.
How would you do it? What's your secret?
Right.
I want to know
it. Secret? What's the approach? Right. All right.
All right.
Thanks guys. We'll